Wait, is Frank calling us from jail right now?
So, Joe, was that like the hardest thing you've ever done in your life?
Probably being friends with you guys is harder.
So while you were in Florida, did you visit your buddy Kurt?
No, that scumbag. I just no.
My hand just started freezing.
Well, I wonder if it shrunk a little bit in the cold.
It always shrinks in the cold. Mine does. I just grabbed my water and it went over the button.
Bye.
Bye.
We definitely did not frank it last week. All right, I guess we should do introductions. We are nothing fancy. We are just a bunch of high school friends who get together on Zoom every week in order to keep from going crazy and to keep from getting cabin fever in the middle of our global pandemic that we're in the middle of. This week, we're all going to answer the question, have you ever been told you look like someone famous, and who? So I don't look like him anymore, but when I was in college, when I had more hair, a lot of people told me I look like Michael Keaton, especially the original Batman, Michael Keaton, the 1980, 88 Batman? Was it 88, 89? Because my hair was longer and kind of long in the back, and it was kind of curly. People would make me put on their glasses in college, and then they'd make me say, I'm Batman, and they would all get a big kick out of it. Shane's next.
I've been told many a time I look like Ron Jeremy.
I'm going to guess that that's a porn star.
Good guess. He's got a big belly, and he's got a big hands and a big feet and a big nose, and everything on him's big.
Oh man.
It's because that we both have dark hair. Now Ron Jeremy had, like, when he had the long hair, like we had the mullets.
So you're literally not just making a joke. People have told you because of your hair and because of your belly.
Yep.
All right, who wants to go next? Joe rolled his eyes when I asked this question.
Let's take a guess who Joe looks like.
Ron Howard.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take it.
Well, who do you think you look like? Who's told you?
What do people tell you when they first meet you?
They haven't said I look like Prince Charles, but they said I look like as if I were a member of the royal family.
There you go. I see it.
Okay. A lesser known brother.
A redheaded stepchild.
Redheaded stepchild. Mick?
So I've been told, Michael Chiklis, he is the guy in the shield.
Yep. I can see that.
Yep.
Yeah. And I look like Shrek. So, yeah.
Which we mentioned last week.
You look more like Fiona Shrek.
Oh, thanks.
You're prettier than Shrek. All right. So now we all get to say, since Frank's not here yet, we all get to say who we think Frank looks like.
Baby Yoda.
He's so cute. Baby Yoda.
I think Frank is the only one that has gotten better looking with age.
He's grown into his looks, hasn't he?
He's gotten more hair, it seems like.
We're all jealous.
I would also say he looks a lot like Dwayne Johnson, The Rock.
I have a job idea for Shane. Even after Shane gets a job, we should still continue to give him job ideas because, one of our ideas might be way better than what the job he picks.
I looked up Area 51. You saw that. I was applying for jobs there.
Did you apply?
I got to send them a resume. I got to get that put together.
Well, you've had a week. What did you do all week, Shane?
Doing? Watching football?
Yes.
So my idea for Shane's next job, and this is actually a serious idea, I know, surprising. I thought of this while Joe was running. Joe, tell me if this is a real job. Live virtual fitness coach. One-on-one, an actual human is talking in your ear while you're running. That human is not talking to other runners. They're literally assigned to you for that run. Is that a thing, or did I invent something awesome?
I can't confirm that it's an actual thing, but there are personal trainers, and it would not surprise me if during this pandemic, those personal trainers started doing virtual personal training.
So you know how Uber works. Mm-hmm. It's just normal average Joes that are driving, right? And then it's ordinary people and they are the ones using the Uber service. When Uber started, it changed the face of taxi service. A lot more people are getting rides now that Uber's a thing than before when it was just a taxi thing. So I think a transition could happen between where there used to be like personal trainers that you paid directly versus you've just got this app and you pay like a monthly fee, or you pay, a very small fee per event. Like Joe, would you have paid $5 to have a one-on-one
Frank
fitness
wouldn't.
coach talking in your ear and encouraging you during your? And I'm thinking with all the technology, the virtual fitness coach should have access to all of your live data, your heart rate, how long you've run, how fast you run, and all the data that you have on your phone, Joe, should be in front of the fitness coach's face, and they can use that data to encourage you.
Listen, Elon Musk.
Is that a good idea?
Well, I don't think, to be honest with you, having someone tell me, Joe, run faster, wasn't going to pay $5 for that.
That's not what Shane would have said. Shane, give us an example. Joe's running. He's in the middle of a 26-mile marathon. Let's say halfway through the marathon, Joe slows down.
I can tell because of his vitals, he has slowed down and his pace is going down. And what I would say to Joe is, hey, make me a sandwich. And then that would make Joe hurry up and get home. Perfect, Joe.
I think the other part of that would be you tend to trust when you get into a Uber driver's car that they have a driver's license and they know how to drive.
Yeah.
But you don't know the person on the other end of the line. They could be a 350-pound.
That's the beauty of it. If it's audio only, they could be huge sitting on their couch, but they could still, if they see your vital signs, they could still be an encouragement in the proper way, especially if they're trained by the company, the Uber fitness company or whatever we decide to call it.
Ooh, I like this we part. Kurt's going to do all the work and we're going to get involved in it.
Only after I retire. I don't have time for this.
You heard him say we.
Well, I consider this a brainstorming session. So, we're all, except Frank. Frank hasn't said a word, so he doesn't get anything.
Perhaps, Kurt, we should just make our podcast, the five of us doing things like go, 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 go. Yeah. And then people can subscribe to the podcast.
Yes.
And be encouraged.
Three more reps. You can do it. Plus.
We'll throw in somebody's name every week. We'll have a different person's name. That way.
I love the idea of the live data and the personalized, one-on-one direct coach. I'm going to look into this. If this doesn't exist, it needs to. So listeners, we have 20 listeners right now. If one of the 20 listeners is an entrepreneur and can make this happen, go for it. And if you get rich off of it and you want to throw a little money our way, that's fine. We'll take it. No pressure. Frank, how long you been home? How many of your wives did you take on this trip? You should probably listen
I had to leave a couple home.
You should probably listen to last week's podcast, Frank.
Frank, did you and Tim get into a little Siamese tricycle?
What's that?
You've got it in the dictionary, Frank. Figure it out.
What was that? Siamese tricycle? What's a Siamese tricycle?
Oh my God.
Let me Google it.
Let's go on to something else.
Wait, I want to see what Google says.
Hold on.
Google may not even know that one yet. Oh man.
It shows a bunch of tricycles.
I don't think.
Try using Google Images. See if that shows you.
Oh, I hurt already. I gotta quit laughing. Oh my gosh.
All I see is a bunch of pictures
I
of
don't know,
Siamese
Kurt.
cats and tricycles.
Frank, are there literally pictures of Siamese cats on tricycles?
No, just tricycles and Siamese cats.
Dang. Missed opportunity.
Let me go get the dictionary though. I feel left out. I don't know. I can't look
Then
it up.
listen to the podcast.
Listen to the podcast, Frank.
Shane, explain what
I'm
it
a-
is.
I don't know what it is. I've never done it.
Have any of you guys watched Cobra Kai season 3?
I have not any of it.
I haven't watched any of them either. I know they're
I'm-
good, and I haven't got to them yet.
We finished season 3 last night. Excellent. So good. Well, but
I'm enjoying it.
I'm watching Yellowstone. How many of you seen that?
I've heard good things about it. It's on my list of many
Oh.
things I want to watch. But yeah,
A
I've
little-
heard good things about
A
it.
little crazy.
I think I added it to my queue a couple weeks ago. I've got a lot of stuff in my queue. I try to watch some movies in between seasons. So like I did Cobra Kai season 2 a couple weeks ago, and then I spent like the whole following week just watching, random movies. And then I did a week where I was just watching Cobra Kai season 3. Actually, I did that in a couple days. But the movies I've been watching lately, none of them have been really great. So I don't feel like I should give them any credit by talking about them at all. They were pretty bad.
That's because everything's
Yeah.
coming out on
So-
Netflix. It's not like a big movie thing.
I
now.
know. So, I mean, I guess before I watch a movie, I need to go to like a third party website like Rotten Tomatoes and see what the ratings are, because everything on Netflix seems like it's highly rated. And then when I watch it, it's like, well, that's a stupid movie. Why do people like it so much?
Because it's all they have to watch.
Yeah. So it's the Netflix rating. It's not like the Rotten Tomatoes rating.
Frank, while you were rebooting, we were talking about. I brought up the Cobra Kai. Did you watch the 3rd season?
So I have not. I started it, but I kind of want to go back and watch the 2nd season,
What?
Okay.
and
Okay.
then watch the 3rd season.
Okay. But you're not getting spoilers? You're not seeing spoilers online, Frank? Because like literally the day after season 3 dropped, and I had only watched like 1 or 2 episodes, I got spoiled. And it wasn't like I read an article. It was the headline. The literal headline of the article completely spoiled
Really.
like a
So-
serious part of season 3 for me.
So the great thing about vacation is I've not been on Facebook. I haven't been watching the news. It's been awesome.
So you have no idea what happened in our nation's capital this past week?
He was there.
I heard something.
He saw it
I heard something
in
about it.
person.
What a cluster. All right, tell us about Mandalorian
Let's-
season 1, episode 1.
I watched the first episode and then I started to watch the second episode and got bored with it. But the first episode was pretty good. It was
I'm
kind of
trying to
like
remember what the storyline was for the second episode.
it was almost like a Western with like Clint Eastwood, that one dude, I don't know what his name was. Oh, the Mandalorian. Wasn't he kind of like Clint Eastwood?
What was the premise? They have different directors for different episodes, and
Yoda.
so you'll get
Yeah,
different
they went to go-
styles.
They went to go look for Baby Yoda, the 50-year-old Baby Yoda.
No, he was at the end of episode 1, Frank. You're getting him confused.
No,
Sure,
what?
right.
Baby Yoda was found at the end of episode 1.
That's what the hanger was, the cliffhanger.
That's what you
So
wanted me to
I'm
watch.
asking
was
you,
episode
I'm
one.
asking you what was the premise of episode 2 that made you hate it?
Yeah, I can't remember what 2 was either. But
I just got
I'm-
bored.
But
It's
you
like in the
didn't-
first one, there was a lot of action.
I like it. I'm not all excited about it, but I think what it is every week there's just a little thing they got to do, and then it goes back to, okay, now we got to take the baby here. Little thing we got to do. I mean, it's always the same thing, but it's a different thing they got to do.
Season 1 was a little weak in some of their plot lines, their storylines. So chapter 2, oh, that's the one. So episode 2 was the one where the Jawas strip his ship, and then he has to go deal with the Jawas, and he has to fight that big rhinoceros thing.
Yeah.
I like that episode, Frank. That makes me sad that you were bored by it. I will say that there are a couple episodes in season 1 that I hated.
My son was excited to really watch it, and that's what made me want to watch it. It was something we could do every Friday night. He would run down here, and we'd sit down and watch it.
I love it.
Yeah, so
I love it.
it was fun to watch that together. So I want to tell you about another movie I watched, but it was on HBO. It was Chernobyl. That's really good.
I've seen
I wanted to
Chernobyl.
watch that, and the
Miniseries?
first
It's
really-
episode
yeah,
got
it's-
cut out. I need to watch
I
it.
kind of didn't know a lot of that, because we were younger when that happened.
It's pretty crazy for the TV show. They're dramatizing things, obviously, but the main story is basically there. Mick, what have you been watching?
I watched the first 2 seasons of Fargo just now. They are really, really good, but they're bloody and kind of gory.
Are they based off the movie?
No, just the title. It's very interesting writing. The first 2 the first one's got Billy Bob Thornton in it, and he does a good job. And then the second one has Kirsten Dunst and her current husband in it, and it's pretty good.
So it's a drama?
Yes, but a lot of people get murdered.
And there's no humor in it at all.
Yes, it's a kind of a drama, a dramedy, I guess.
Just like the movie Fargo.
Yes, just different storylines.
Are the characters in the Fargo TV show like cops and detectives, and they're like trying to figure out murders and stuff?
Yes, there are cops in them, but you see both sides of you see what the murderer does and all the different plot line, what he's trying to do, and then what the cops are doing. It's good.
I really did enjoy the movie Fargo. Maybe I should put the
and
TV
you would
show. I should put that on my queue.
Hey guys, I got something in the mail this week.
Oh, Joe, what'd you get in the mail?
Show us.
It's this book that I read and told Kurt about back in 2016.
You already own that book, huh? All right. Well, Frank doesn't realize this since he was gone, but we had a contest last week. Joe won, and his prize was that book. What's the title of that book, Joe?
Let's go back a second. Joe won.
So Joe doesn't agree that he won. He thinks it was rigged in his favor. So Joe complains when he doesn't win, and Joe complains when he does win. Frank,
this was not
Joe.
A competition.
So what's the name of your book? Your prize, your big prize that you already owned and so didn't want or need or appreciate at all?
What If?
By
Randall Munroe.
Randall Munroe is the creator of what?
XKCD.
Which is a very popular and quite
Porn
famous
site.
Cartoon. It's a stick figure cartoon, and it's really kind of geared towards technical people like engineers, but it's honestly, everybody loves XKCD because it's just good humor, but it does usually have a technical kind of bent to it. So engineers love it. It's our fave. So Joe, can you read us a small excerpt?
So you sent it to a social worker?
I thought you'd appreciate it, Joe. Can you read us a small excerpt?
I do. Well, these are like full chapters.
The cover of Joe's book has a Tyrannosaurus Rex being dangled above a sarlacc pit. So
correct.
Can you give us a summary of what that is about?
Oh,
sarlacc pit.
I'm gonna have to find it. Hang on.
Don't tell me Joe and I are the only ones in the meeting who knows what a sarlacc pit is.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is.
There's none of the chapter titles have
by your memory,
or
since you've read this book, by your memory, what is that picture? What is that picture about?
4 years ago. I don't remember that one.
What would happen?
I remember chapter
What would
1.
happen if you dropped a T-Rex into a sarlacc pit?
The first thing I remember was chapter 1, which is what would happen if the Earth and all terrestrial objects suddenly stopped spinning, but the atmosphere retained its velocity. The answer is A, nearly everyone would die.
And then he goes on to explain the physics and the.
He talks about the wind. The wind would be
how
insane.
bad the wind would be, and yeah. So
Have you read this, Kurt?
Kind of a sciencey.
Have you read this book?
No, but I know the premise.
Yeah.
Kurt's an engineer. He knows what happens if the world stops spinning and the atmosphere
It's kind of like bringing in a little bit of science, just enough science to pique your interest without going overboard in the science.
I remember it talking about if that were to happen, the wind would be so strong going across the surface of the Earth. It would be kind of like a tidal wave in that it would sweep off like the top several feet of Earth.
Jeez.
And turn it into like kind of again like a tidal wave. It would all get swept along, so it'd be like this high velocity sandstorm or dirt and tree and everything storm flying across the surface of the Earth. So it wouldn't just be air; it would be billions of tons of obstacles that would be flying around at you,
which would easily kill all life on Earth. Good book. So if you want to read it again, read it again. If not, put it in the post, and you guys can figure out how you want to trade your prizes. I don't think Frank's done with his yet.
I don't think I'll ever be done with it.
Really
Well,
Frank,
not.
don't you read it every night before you go to bed?
Yeah.
So alternatively, you could read it on the toilet.
Yeah.
I gave blood this week, or plasma, so I went there to do it. They got to fill out a form and stuff, and they asked me this question. Well, first she goes, "What's your name? What's your birthday?" She goes, "What's your gender?" And I looked at her and I said, "What?" She goes, "What do you identify as?" And I said, "Ma'am, I'm 50 years old. I've never been asked that question in my life." She goes, "Well, I have to by law to ask you that." And I go, "Are you kidding me?" I almost made something up.
A
I was
unicorn.
really thinking,
You should have said a unicorn.
Mandalorian.
So think about this. If you ever go somewhere to do it and they ask you that question, you can be prepared to make something up. Unicorn, Mandalorian.
Did you get
Jeez.
paid a lot to do that, Shane?
I got $100.
I didn't know. I didn't know you could get paid for that. Why didn't you tell
Yeah,
me?
there's some people
You
that
got to
get
sit.
paid
It
quite a
takes
bit.
like an hour. Takes like an hour.
Oh, I know. I know
Yeah.
how to give plasma. It's right there in the bloodmobile where I give my blood every 6 weeks.
I gotta wait 3 days. Every 3 days I can get plasma.
Wait, are
Shane,
you going to go back in 3 days and get another $100?
you
I
get
did
more.
it twice. I've done it twice already. I'm
Is it
gonna do it until
$100
they.
each?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it until they tell me I can't. Well, until my.
So
COVID's
every
gone.
3 days you can go do this and get another $100.
Yeah.
Holy cow!
When my wife and I
My
were first
part-time job.
married, we were so poor that we went for like 4 months straight so we could buy, and we used that money for Christmas gifts.
I've given blood my entire life, and there's a plasma machine right next to where I give blood, and I could give plasma just as easily, and I wouldn't get
No.
paid for it.
You got to go
Yeah,
to a plasma donation site.
Yeah.
Oh, this isn't the American Red Cross.
No.
It's right next to the sperm bank.
That's how I found it. Just so you guys know.
That's how Frank goes. Does it too. Frank
That's
is
where I go
prolific.
every week.
All right, that's my problem. Is I go to the American Red Cross and they don't pay you for squat.
No, they don't. You should go to the plasma bank.
All right, before Mick gives up and leaves, what else does Mick want to say this week?
What else do I want to say?
Yeah.
My son's interviewing for jobs for I guess internships for accounting. He's going to be an accountant.
Wait a second. Your son is still in college?
Yeah.
Okay. I lose track of how old everybody is, especially when they leave the house. I just kind of assume that they're all off and married. And
Yeah.
well, let's talk for a quick minute about college tuition, because I think there are two big camps, and I think they both have really good arguments, and I don't think one is an obvious choice. There's the camp of the parents saving the money for tuition and essentially paying the kids tuition so that they're not in debt when they start off in real life. And then there's the camp that says, no, the kid pays for their own tuition because life is about hard knocks, and they have to learn that life is about creating debt and paying it off. And so where do you all, I'll tell you where I stand. And this is why I started saving when the kids were little. It's because my parents did it for me. My parents paid for mine and my sister's tuition. If they hadn't done that, I might have a different stance. I feel like it gave me really good footing so that I wasn't in debt when I started on my own.
Yeah.
But I can see the other argument about, why give kids handouts? They need to understand that life costs and that they're going to have debt and they're going to have to pay it back.
Well, I'm right there with you, Kurt. I mean, my parents, helped me pay most of my way through college, except for the scholarships that I could get. So I feel like I want to help my kids. I have a good friend of mine, the one who listened to the podcast who didn't like it. One of her friends' daughters, rather than getting a job like in the summer, she took the time that she could have been working and she dedicated those hours to finding scholarships, because there's thousands and thousands of scholarships, and she literally applied for who knows how many scholarships, and she was able to get through college on those scholarships without working.
See,
that's impressive.
Most kids don't do that because it's not trivial. It's a lot of work to comb through and do the research and do all of the applications that you have to do and write all the stupid essays.
Yeah.
Something else you got to think of when you're doing all this. I'm the same with you two. My parents paid for my college. I did my graduate work. I was a graduate assistant, so that was completely paid for that way. But I always thought, when you see those big numbers that cost $32,000, Texas A&M says, yeah, it's going to cost you, $28,000 a year.
Yeah.
For everything. And it's not really that close. I mean, I think we're going to pay $6,500 a semester for tuition, and then basically maybe $1,000 for books. And then because we pay his rent by the month, that doesn't really, to me, or it's never really counted when we paid the rent.
Well, housing usually costs more than tuition. And a lot of people don't take that into account like they should.
So if you can get them out of the dorms, it's cheaper. It's a lot cheaper.
Right. I agree with that. Not everybody has the maturity to live on their own outside of the dorms. I do understand the argument of letting them, making them live on their own and grow up. Shane hasn't given his opinion.
I got money saved for my son, but I don't think we'll pay for his whole school. I mean, he'll have to pay for some of it himself.
Yeah, there's kind of an in between option where it's
money
you pay a
saved
little and the kid pays a little.
Yep.
Yeah.
So right now he wants to make video games, is what he says.
That's what every teenager wants to do of this generation. Both of my kids wanted to do that 5 years ago.
Yeah.
At a certain age, that's what every kid wants to do. They want to
because of
write
Minecraft.
video games. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I kind of like Minecraft, but at a certain level, it's destroying our society, isn't it?
All right, guys, we got to get going.
All right, everybody has to say goodbye.
This is Shane.
Bye.
Peace out.
Goodbye.
See you guys.
Good night, guys. Good meeting. See you
See
next
you
week.
next week.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
All right, that's our podcast this week. Thank you for listening. If you want to contact us for any reason, we can be reached via email. Just send your email to talkaboutdumbstuff@gmail.com. No dots between those words, no dashes, nothing fancy. Just all those words mashed right up against each other. Talkaboutdumbstuff@gmail.com. And hopefully, if we didn't offend any of our listeners this week or bore you to death, we will see you again next week. See you then.